Hey, what's up guys? It's Andrew Smersek with Combat Training. Today we're going to be talking about front serrations on a pistol and why you shouldn't use them, why you don't need them. Now this is going to piss some people off. I'm not trying to offend you. I know there's a lot of great instructors who teach to use the front serrations, and they have awesome classes and they have a lot of great knowledge. I'm not saying anything bad about them. I know there's a lot of phenomenal shooters that use them all the time, and I'm not saying anything bad about those shooters, okay? It's just when people talk about front serrations, they sometimes they think they need them and they don't, and sometimes their philosophy of why they use them is kind of flawed. Like maybe there's some things they're just not prioritizing, or some things they don't know. Okay, my big thing on why not to use them is you're introducing more potential for human error. Okay, and when you have more room for error, more things will go wrong. Right? Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Okay, so now let's talk about some of the things that people like them for, and what goes wrong with it. So first off, press checks. The simple thing is you don't need them for press checks. Okay, people like to grab them, grab the front serrations, and then pull the slide back and do their press check like that, right? Which is fine, but not having front serrations there won't stop you from doing that. It's not going to. Okay, so it's not needed for that. You can also just grab it by the rear sight and do the same thing. Okay, it's actually the wrong way to do a press check either way. If you do either of those ways, we'll talk about the correct way to do a press check at the end of the video, but I'm just saying you don't actually need the front serrations to do a press check, and again, that's the wrong way anyways. But next thing is a little bit less power, right? It's just because you're relying on finger strength and being able to pinch like this, okay, whenever you do it that way. And good luck trying to get someone who's smaller and weaker to be able to do it, right? Being able to rack it like that. You're going to be stronger 100% of the time putting your palm and all your fingers against it and be able to squeeze with your whole hand, okay? Same thing when we go left-handed and use the thumb back here and then these fingers right here behind the ejection port, okay? You're going to be stronger like that because you have more surface area. You're gripping with more hand. The thing that people generally go to for why they're doing it this way is the efficiency, because there's less wasted motion, which I agree with, right? Yes, less wasted motion will be more efficient. But then it's going to make you faster, right? But we're really, kind of looking so minute that I don't think it's that important. I do not prioritize speed with manipulations. I want something that will always work 100% of the time with any gun, okay? So, but let's get into it. So yeah, this will be more efficient than this because your hand has to travel less distance. But that being said, like for an emergency reload specifically, this will always be faster and more efficient. So why don't you just do it that way? Now, I don't like using the slide lock lever to do reloads and release the slide, and there's other reasons for that, okay? It's not what this video is about. But if you're that worried about the speed and the fractions of a second on the shot timer, why don't you just do it that way? Also, I'm not trying to be a dick, but when people are using shot timers and talking about, well, this is a 15th of a second faster and whatever, why don't we see them doing the same thing with tourniquet drills? All right, just saying. All right, now for malfunctions clearing too, introducing human error, you're putting the ejection port up. Okay, when the ejection port is up, as a righty at least they're doing it, you're not letting gravity help you, and also doing it this way, you're more likely to end up blocking the ejection port. So first I'll set up a Inline stovepipe, horizontal stovepipe, or I call it a non-visible, because when you're sighted in, you don't see the brass sticking up and it just looks like an emergency reload. But it's kind of like the worst stovepipe to have to clear. But if you are doing it this way, you're more likely to end up blocking that ejection port, which will cause the brass to stay in. Okay, now I'll take the brass out. Same thing, where if you have a type 1 malfunction, right, a click instead of a bang, and then you're rack it like this, you're more likely to keep that brass in there. Now, not saying that's going to happen, but it can happen, okay? In addition to that, if you do get a malfunction like that, and you go to clear it, the gravity not helping you because you have the ejection port up as a righty. Obviously, as a lefty, it'd be down, right? Wouldn't be that big of a deal unless your hand blocks it. But as a righty, you're still more likely to end up having that stick in, okay? Just because gravity is not helping you. Not saying it's going to happen, but it can happen. And, well, maybe I am saying it's going to happen because anything that can go wrong will go wrong, right? So, the ejection port facing up as a righty, doing it this way, the gravity can keep it in there, and then either way your hand can end up blocking the ejection port, so we don't want to do that. The other big thing with this too is not having a negligent discharge into your hand, okay? Not saying it will happen, but again, when we watch videos of people demonstrating doing their reloads and their malfunctions clearing like this, they're just staying in one spot, right? This is something I have kind of a problem with it. Anytime I see people demoing how fast something is and how efficient it is, but if they're just staying in one spot, they're eliminating the other variables that are highly potential in happening, right? So, like, if you're just staying in one spot, you're not tripping, you're not slipping, all right? If no one's bumping into you, you're able to do everything perfectly without interruption. But like, you know, talking about being in an actual fight, right? Like a knife attack, right? Someone's coming straight into you and you're trying to keep your gun working, you're not going to be as stable. You may have them bump the gun into a position you don't want it in, and when you are grabbing towards the front of the gun, you're more likely to have your hand come behind and end up flagging yourself and even having an ND into yourself, okay? Not saying it's going to happen, but it can happen. Also, your buddies can bump into you. Your kid may be grabbing onto your leg, which makes you stumble, okay? It fucking rains, all right? Shit gets slippery. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. And yeah, in a controlled environment where you're just standing there and doing your manipulations, things don't go wrong. But when it's like a real world situation, there's a lot more that can go wrong, and this is just more dangerous for that hand, okay? And if you shoot yourself, that does count. So that's one of the big things for it. Now, that's about it. I guess we need to talk about the correct way to do a press check. So, correct way to do a press check is after you load it, if you want to know if it's still loaded, press the loaded chamber indicator. That's how you do a press check. We're gonna do them because you should know what it fucking sounds like when you load your gun. I'm not trying to be a jackass, that's more of a joke. But yeah, you don't actually need to do press checks. I don't do them. But if you need to, and you have a loaded chamber indicator on your gun, it doesn't make sense to be pulling the slide back. You're just gonna put your gun out of battery or cause a malfunction or something like that. It's not necessary. But anyways, that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you to all the subscribers. We're going to do a video on malfunctions clearing next. But thank you guys for your support. Thank you for buying the gear. All my students, keep fighting communism. And remember that training saves lives.